My name is Ken Liu, and I'm from the Blood Tribe in southern Alberta, the Blackfoot Nation. Yeah.
Who are you and what do you do?
I do silver carving, bracelets, rings, pendants, and yeah, it's great.
Do you have a life-changing moment that developed your art?
I think the life-changing moment was when I met Russell Smith, who's the carver of this pendant here, moon pendant. It's a casting of in copper, and he was I met him in the early 70s, and I'd go over to his place, and he was one of my in-laws, but I'd go down in his shop and hang out with him and the other carvers, like his cousins and relatives. They'd be downstairs carving in wood and everything, and so he had his silver work set up there, and one day he gave me some bear claws, and he says, you can take these home and clean them up and then come back here, and I'll show you how to bezel them. So I did that. And this is actually one of the first grizzly bear claws that I did, probably in 1975 or so. And I gave it to one of my friends at that time, and then just a few years ago she gave it back to me because she never used it. So and it's inlaid with whale tooth, and it's still got the original silver cap that I put on it. So that's how I learned how to do this, and then I do more and more bear claws, and then after a while I just picked up more techniques of silver from watching Russell. Yeah.
What art do you most identify with?
Well, the Quaguil style, because that's where Russell was from. He was from Alert Bay, and then there was other carvers there, like Bo Dick and a lot of really influential people that I've had in my past.
What themes do you pursue?
Well, after being taught by Russell, who could do pretty much anything, it's just mostly what I was taught by Russell Smith. You see, like his designs, he showed me certain elements of the forms, right? And then even people like Derek and Barry Wilson, like I've known them for years and years. And just associating with them, you pick up little elements of how they carve, and that's originally I was inspired by them because I was going to Langara and I saw Derek and Barry Wilson there, and I still have one of the prints from the early 70s that they made at Langara, and it's quite amazing. And that was really what inspired me to start drawing, the forms and stuff like that.
Remember to repeat the question in your answer.
Right, okay.
What is your favorite piece that you have created?
My favorite piece that I've created is, maybe some of my bracelets and things, It's, like doing a bear bracelet with inlaid eyes or something like that. It's really quite challenging and fulfilling to do. Yeah. I couldn't bring it all with me because I don't have too much to sell right now because it's all gone, right? As soon as I make it, it's pretty much sold. So. Yeah, very lucky. Yeah.
Why do you make art?
Because
I make art
because it's I was so inspired by Russell to do that, and I have like rubbings of his work. Like he would work across at my place. He'd work right there across from me, and he'd be carving away. and then he'd have a piece there just finished on the block, and then I take a rubbing of it, right? And I still have all those rubbings, and then I look at that, and that's how I can kind of duplicate what he does, right? And then I learn from his form, right? So, but he could do anything, you know, like he was more like a genius artist, right? Whereas I really have to work at things, but because he could do wood, silver, gold, ivory, he could do dinosaurs or aliens or anything, right? Well, it's, you know, and so he'd say, oh, look at this, you know, and then I'd say, oh, that's pretty good, you know, or so I try to duplicate what he does, but it would, you know, it's pretty hard act to follow. Yeah.
Just adjusting a couple things here.
Okay, next question.
What is more important to you, the subject of your art or the way that it's executed?
I think in silver, it's more how you execute it, because you have your engraver, your tool, and any mark you make on that piece of silver is going to stay there. So you have to really know your form and everything like that. So when you're carving and you know how to keep your tool sharp and everything like that. Because if your tools aren't sharp, then you're going to slip like that, and then there's going to be and that's hard to get the mistakes out, though not impossible.
What is the best piece of advice you've been given?
Oh, many people have given me many, and they're not big things like Buzzy McGuire. I went to showed him one of my first bracelets, you know, and I said, oh, this is a nice piece, you know, it wasn't, you know. Anyway, I showed it to him, and he had his visor on and everything, and he sort of looks at my bracelet, and he just sort of hands it back to me, and he says, sharpen your tools, Ken. You know. And then somebody else might say to me, like, something that's real simple things like, follow the line, right? So it's not really big, it's all these little things that you put together that makes the final result. Mm-hmm.
How do you work?
How do I work? I have my own little shop, and my bench is there, and all my tools are right around me, and I just sit down, I go and buy some silver and go home, and I don't rush myself, you know, I take my time. And
what role does the artist have in society?
oh, some artists, I think, like Russell and, you know, Bo Dick, they're more, like Russell knew all the songs and dances and the languages and everything like that, the Quagos traditions, right? So that's very important, right? Whereas I learned from Russell, so to a certain extent, I have I'm helping to keep those forms that Russell taught me alive, right? And then maybe even taking them to another level, because like with this piece here, Russell would take it and recreate it even more, like add some wings and turn it into, or some rays and turn it into a sun instead of a moon, or cut it and change it into a different shaped face or something like that, right? And or cast it in silver and change it some more, right? But I just try to study some of the older pieces of silver and things like that. Like there was many like great carvers in the past, you know, and I tried to look at their work, and then I learned from that, and then it just sort of goes into my work, you know, and it changes, and I, you know, yeah, so it's
Can you describe a real life situation that inspired you?
a real life situation. Well, it was mostly just being like back in the 70s and 80s, and the whole art scene was a lot different than it is now, and there was a lot of great carvers and artists and you know, printmakers and things like that, and I was really fortunate to be learning at that time, right? Yeah, like Russell Smith and Bo Dick, you know, even Bill Reed and all those great old carvers, you know. That was really what, you know, changed everything for me, was coming out here to the West Coast and being inspired by all these people.
What is your dream project?
My dream project would be to make some more like the bear claw necklaces. You know, those were a lot of fun to do, and maybe get some more grizzly bear claws and do one in like, instead of just putting silver caps on them, put gold, 14 karat gold caps on it, and have the whole set, you know, but something like that. Mm-hmm.
And can you tell me your name, nation, and background?
My name is Ken Liu. I'm from the Stranglingo family of the Blood Reserve in southern Alberta. Alrighty then.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Excellent.